Hi everyone, I am Ashley Sanregret, and I'm joined here today with my friend Lacey. Lacey, thank you so much for having this conversation today.
Yes, you're welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
Lacey and I attended a retreat together and really bonded. She was across the hallway from me, and we just really felt that the Lord putting us in the same path during that retreat, and we've been just like bound together since then. And it's been such a gift.
Yes.
And we just thought, like, joining for today and with Valentine's Day coming up this week, we thought, let's have a conversation about love and what love looks like and how in this world, and especially during the holiday, we're like chasing love in all different worldly directions. Mm-hmm. And we started diving into what love really is. Mm-hmm. And so we want to just have a conversation about it today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, well, before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Lacey. We've lived here. We moved back in this area last year. We lived in Texas for 4 years, originally from this area. Have 3 kiddos, 16, 15, and 12, and my husband, Brian, who I've been married to for 19 years.
Yes. So that's love.
Yes.
19 years is
almost 19.
Almost 19 years. In those 19 years, what have you learned about love?
Oh gosh. That I cannot seek out ultimate love from Brian or my children or what I do, my job, anything like that, that I can put those expectations on them, but ultimately feel that they don't satisfy every single time.
It's because we put all of that pressure that I know personally for me when I'm chasing John's love and acceptance and my value and all of that in him, it's gonna fail because he is a human. And I have had to learn that when I'm chasing that kind of love, like you said, it's just empty.
So I've heard it described as I have taken like Jesus or God off of his throne and I've put Brian on that throne, or my kids on that throne, or my job on that throne. And although they are really good people or good things, they make really crappy gods.
Yeah.
And so when that's disordered, love, my affection going to them, it just trickles down to all the things of feeling unsatisfied. There's just this angst in you that it's like, I don't know what it is, but it's just, this isn't it. And so there's like this searching, and it's because our heart is searching for the Father's love. How
did you make that shift?
Oh, not nicely.
No, me either.
It was like
no.
Yeah, it was just, it was mostly for me, it was trial and error. Like, I am a feeler. I can read things pretty good, and just this, I can't explain it. It's just this like feeling a pit in my stomach of just looking at all the different things, and it's just like we could have a really great date, and we could do all of these things, and it could go perfectly, and there was still this like in there. Job, same thing. I could be nailing it, all the things. Still this, there's just something more, and that's. I mean, we were created for more. We were created for the Father's love and his love for us. And so when we search in all the different places, it just leaves you with there's something more.
Yeah, I know that, like, not quite fulfilled feeling, right? Like, it is this, like, stirring.
Yeah.
And even as because I'm still developing, like, run to the Father. Not run to my husband or run to my kids or run to something worldly like social media to try to fill that stirring of who I should be, how I should be comforted, where I should find my peace. Every time I've ran to those, it is still that empty feeling. And the place where I try to default back to is like, no, I need to run to his arms, because why on earth are we chasing something in this world that they didn't create us. They don't know our every single inner thought. They don't know the plans that they made, our needs. So why would I run to something that doesn't even fully get me? Right?
Yeah, and expect it to fully get me.
And expect it to God created us perfectly and in his image. But we've decided at times, I know I have, to be like, okay, no, I'm going to go and try to get that fulfillment in other places, and it comes up empty.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks, but.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that there's so many things buzzing in our head. How, I know there's different things where I've been just like, Father, like, remind me to chase you. Like, he knows that that's where I find my comfort, where I find my peace, but like, remind me that not to go and like have my default be this way in the world. What are some like tangible things, if somebody's listening today, like what are some tangible ways that you have like grown your default to run to the Father?
My default usually is worship music. And so when I feel that angst of like, I don't like what's going on around me, or this is a situation, I just need to remind my head and heart that this is what's true. So I actually have a playlist on my phone. It's just called Remember. And it's speaking of who God is, who he created me to be, and just his holiness, his worthiness, like reminding myself that he's faithful. He was faithful back then. He's faithful. And so it's just like, it's having that like go to like, oh, I'm feeling this. I'm going to look at this.
Yeah.
But I think even before that is a desire to turn to him. And there's been seasons where I didn't want to. And so it's praying for like the want to want. So in that, like, okay, I know I need to want this. I know I need to want to turn to you, but I really don't. And so there's been prayers where it's like, Lord, just help me want to want you. Like, because the scroll is a heck of a lot easier to check out and numb out. The like going to other things, a lot easier than fixing my eyes on you. But when I fix my eyes on you, there's an orientation that starts taking place that even when it's crazy going around you, it's like, it's okay. It's okay. I'm right here with my Father and he loves me. And I was telling you this morning about in Ephesians 3, I think I've heard the verse like he's, you know, that he gives the peace that surpasses all understanding.
Yes.
But in Ephesians 3, I think it was talking about like he has given us a love that surpasses. And that was like, what? I've never heard that
I've heard
before.
peace, not
Yes,
love.
Like
Yes.
he gives a love that is like beyond our knowledge.
Beyond, like,
Beyond.
to me, I'm like, don't put God in a box. The other place where I put him in a box is when I'm like, well, I'm unworthy.
Yeah.
No, God still loves me and is still with me in that unworthiness. Okay. Well, then I'm just so guilty, or I'm full of shame, or God unconditionally loves me there. So I found myself at times like strong arming, like kind of like that thought of like, Lord, remind me that I am unconditionally loved. Because, you know, the other feeling that I've felt in my life too is like our earthly fathers will also let us down, will not meet those expectations. And so sometimes you fall into that lie, full-on lie the enemy does not want you to feel, is that our Heavenly Father, God, loves us beyond measure. So we can't even fathom. We can't even, like, the knowledge isn't even, like, in our human heads.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, like, when we've either had a good example of an earthly father or maybe a poor example of an earthly father, that's hard for us to make that shift of, like, he's always unconditionally there. Like, it doesn't matter what I do or what I didn't do.
Yeah.
And then, like, he just wants you right now. Like, I think of, like, this story of the prodigal son, and there's two sons in there, and we kind of focus on the one son because I think a lot of times we can relate to that one guy that's, like, chasing after the world. But really, like, it really focuses on the father and the father's heart towards those sons. He wants both of them. The one that ran far away and the one that's kind of standing with his arms crossed. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like, he wants them both. Like, it's so important to think of it. It's like, it's the Father's love that wants to draw them both back.
Yeah.
And so there has been times where I have crossed my arms and been like, what the heck?
Yeah,
And
right.
there has been times where I've been chasing after the things of the world.
Yeah.
And it's still the Father's love that's like, come on, come on, come on.
Come on.
And
come
he
on.
doesn't even just say, come here. And
No.
he's standing. He's running towards.
Running towards.
Yes. There's a pursuit of us.
I, for a long time, I just felt like I wasn't fully worthy of the Father's love. Like, I just could get a piece of it, and I was only part of, like, I could get a good chunk of it, but I just couldn't get past the threshold. And somebody had explained to me, like, no, God has put a feast, laid out a feast in front of you. Like, do you believe that you have a seat at that table?
Yeah, he's given you a new name.
Right.
You've been adopted into his family.
Yeah.
He's given you a new name. He's
Yeah.
dressed you in new clothes. And there's this feast available.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to pull up a seat or are you going to say, no thanks?
Right. Like, are there tacos there? Like, I'm there. I'm like, do I get to pick my feast? Because I'm like carne asada.
I think there is a feast of anything you could possibly want.
Anything that sounds so decadent and delicious, and like God's
All
like,
the
come
dessert.
on. Oh, yeah. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was my will and my choice to be like, okay, yeah, I want to be at your table. And I think like when this world starts to come in and starts to be like, no, he calls me royal. Like, my Father calls me royal.
Yeah, you're seated next to in the heavenly places. You're seated on the
Yeah,
throne.
I like, this is crazy. But I even think like there's times where I'm even like in my sweatpants and I'm like hanging out. I'm like, God calls me royal. Like, I'm royal. Like, that's okay. My top bun's cool, and I am going to walk in that confidence, that holy confidence that nobody else can disrupt, because I know I am loved by a Father that no matter what I do is I love that imagery of like chasing me.
Yeah.
Wants to love me.
Yes. And I think it's important to have people around you when you have those moments where I call them like, you need to straighten your crown and remember who you are.
Yeah.
Like when your crown feels a little cockeyed and you're like, oh, I guess I am this, and this, exactly what the enemy speaks over you, to be like, no, that is not who you are.
Yeah.
You are chosen. You are royal. You were set apart. Like,
Yeah.
all this is what's true.
Yeah.
We're going to silence the lies.
I think you need that list. Like, I know personally for myself, when the lies come in, I need you to be like, Ash, no. I need to have that list that I'm like, whether you write it down, stick it on a Post-it note, put it in your car, like, claim those words. You are loved out loud, loved beyond measure. That no matter what human comes in your way, I am so loved by the Father. And sometimes I take I do take breaks, and I'm like, I need my own personal space where I'm going to just go and like curl up with my Father, because I want to just have that peace that only He can give me, that comfort only He can give me, that love that's like, it's not that stirring. When I know that I'm like there with Him and I'm receiving it, like that stirring's gone. Yeah.
Even like, I think in those moments where you can take a second to like just do breathing, like breathe in, I am loved by my Father, and then breathe out. And just that like calming, like reminding not only your head and heart, but your body who that is. It's a whole thing.
Yeah. If somebody's listening today and they feel unloved, they're feeling unloved, they're feeling unworthy, maybe it's just this moment. You put on music, right? That's where you go. What other, like, I love the breathing, like, pause. What other things would you recommend for somebody that's just stuck? Yeah.
I would say try to find a trusted friend that loves Jesus, that is going to point you towards truth and not, to speak what the enemy believes over you. Like, no thanks. Like, this is what I want. I want truth. I want, whether that is listening to the Bible, like even just like reminding, I personally love like Ephesians or like the Corinthians, all of that, just to have that just on a repeat. So, because sometimes those lies are just too loud in your head. Even writing them down, writing the lies down, and then putting truth right next to them. It's like, this is what I'm hearing right now. This is what I'm feeling. And realizing that the feelings are kind of like check engine lights in your heart. Of like, ooh, what is that? Like, what am I feeling there? Am I feeling rejection? Well, I know I'm not rejected by God because this. And just going through and sorting out, as someone who struggles with trying to figure out exactly what I'm feeling, that's a helpful exercise. To like just break it down.
Stops the movie in your head. It releases the power of the lies just churning and developing into their own new series. Right?
You get like lie goggles on.
Yes.
And so then like all of everything you view is through that lie.
Yeah.
And so then I feel like, oh, Ashley, she doesn't actually care about me because she's doing this, this, and this. And it's just because I've had these goggles on where it's not the case. It's not the case at all. I need to drop that lie down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, I just, I love you.
I love you.
And I am so thankful. I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, you have to find your community, find people that love Jesus, because this world's going to try to yank us away from the Father's love so quickly. We do it to ourselves. Distraction, social media, just not diving into the Word and having that, like, be what we're walking in. And I think being in community with others that love Jesus and love us and show us and point us to, like, hey, you've got to go up to God before you're going to go out. Like, know who you are, be loved and saturated in His love, and then go out so you can love others. And I think that's so good. So thanks for being here.
Yes, thanks for having
I'm
me.
excited to chat more with you.
Yes, I look forward to it.
We hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to more conversations.